Woo, that intro looks so good. But what's up, fam? It's your boy, Anthony Greenfield, and welcome to Ant-Archy, the talk show where we talk about anything and everything underneath the sun. And today's topic, we have men's mental health. As a lot of you know, it's June, and it's Men's Mental Health Month, along with Pride Month. So today, I have someone who's willing to contribute to the madness today, Leon Thomas. So, Leon, talk to me. What's going on, brother? What's up?
Anthony, good to see you, man. Everything is rocking on groovy. Happy to be here. This is your first show. Congratulations. Thanks for having me on as your first guest.
Man, this is so much first show jitters, and I've really been waiting for this moment. And I just want to give a big shout out to Dr. Otis Thomas at Bowie State University. Hey, man, I made it. I got my own show. Now it's time for me to build it from the ground up. All right. So, Leon, let me ask you this before we get into our first question. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Now I'll tell you, your audience, earlier this week I was ill. I've been having a health situation go on. This is like episode number 16 or 17 or whatever, but I bounced back from it. I'm feeling good. I had a chance to play racquetball with the kids in my racquetball program today, and I'm feeling really good.
Man, that sounds great. It sounds so much good that you're doing better. That you're doing better, Leon. You made it to the end of the week, brother, and now it's time to move on to a whole new week. So, my first question I want to know is, what do you believe are some of the symptoms of men's mental health?
Wow, there's so many, and I know some folks that professionally have been diagnosed with mental health conditions. Um, but I'd say one, we need to look at the folks' demeanor, the way they communicate. Now, again, I'm not a health expert. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a mental health expert. I'm just a guy here having conversation. So no one should take anything that I say and take it to the bank and say, "Oh, Leon said." No, 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 no. I'm just giving you my opinion. So first is the way folks communicate, their demeanor, right? That's one thing to look for. Something else to look for would be changes, sudden changes. Folks no longer liking activities that they once did, um, sleeping later, not getting up as spry as they once did. I think those are some things we could look at to say, this person might be having something that they need to talk to a professional about in regards to their mental health.
Well, Leon, that is a great answer, and I love it. So, I was doing some research earlier this week, and as I was looking on some mental health, I looked on the ADAA, the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, and they said that some of their symptoms were escapist behavior, substance or drug or alcohol abuse, aggressiveness, like inappropriate anger out of nowhere, like anger spikes, you know, and and I kind of see that, and I resembled it to what I do. Do I do any of this stuff? If there's something that I do that maybe I don't realize, like when I talk to my friends, if I talk to my coworkers, if I talk to my family, do I ever have an anger spike out of nowhere that maybe I don't realize, but they realize? And they'll try to tell me like, "Hey, Anthony, you're getting mad for no reason," but then I don't see it. Now, escapist behavior, that one I will say I've done that many times. There's a lot of times to where I saw me coming home and playing the game was escaping from everything, escaping reality. Me going out and playing sports, me playing football, playing basketball, playing soccer, playing uh, hockey, field hockey. Those were some ways to escape from what's going on inside.
Hmm.
So, Leon, So now let me ask you, have you ever seen yourself in some escapist behavior, or maybe someone that you've talked to at some point have noticed that you had anger spikes at any moment?
Yes, yes, and I'll tell you
Yeah, we can all say that.
I'll tell you the couple situations for me when that existed. All right, and I'll go back. I don't know, 20, 25 years or so ago, or somewhere like that. Um, and again, this is me looking back on it. Okay, looking back, knowing what was going on. Um, every little thing that happened, I would fly off the handle,
Mm,
and everything was a major life crisis, right? So,
wow.
Anthony, you're, let's say, my 5-year-old son, and you're ready for school, getting ready for school, and you can't find your belt.
Hmm.
Ah, he's gonna get kicked out of school. I mean, it got really bad, right? It got really, everything was a crisis. And I'll tell you something else. Don't make any mistakes around me back then. Like, so don't be someone at the grocery store and I ask you to put 3 items in a bag and you put four. I was done, right?
Ooh.
I was at it. And folks used to tell me all the time, they'd say, "You're getting upset about nothing." And I would push back to them and say, "I tell you, I didn't put I'm getting upset about nothing. It is important." And I would try to justify, that behavior. So yeah, I've done that. I've done that. I forget what is that I'm describing. What's that called again? You labeled it. What did you call that?
Escapist behavior or like
Yeah,
inappropriate anger spikes.
inappropriate anger spikes. Yeah, for sure. I definitely did that. In terms of escapism, yep. And sometimes I think folks do things and they don't see it as escaping. They try to call it relaxing, but you really are escaping, right? Because that
Yeah.
reality is going to be back with you when you're done. For at one time in my life, it was sports that I would play basketball endless numbers of hours. Oh, one more game, one more game, one more game. Because again, looking back on it, I didn't want to go back to that reality. That
Mhm.
reality of sometimes was college. The reality sometimes was the bills are still there. The reality sometimes was the relationship. I need to have a discussion about the relationship. Finances. There's so many things that we try to just run away from. So yeah, I've experienced both of the things that you're talking about.
Well, thank you for sharing that lovely, lovely story, Leon. And I'm telling you, escapist behavior is my number one cope with it. I've used video games to escape from almost everything. Not escape from my problems, because my problems are still going to be there when I get done, but just escape the situation I'm in at that moment. If I'm ever angry, if I'm ever distressed, or I feel anxious, like I have anxiety, or if I ever feel um stressed out in any way, I always come and I play my video games. But nowadays, I'm starting to see that I have this job through Flagstar Football, and I'm using that as an escapist behavior too, because I like how I coach the kids and I like how the kids interact with me. They all talk to me like I'm their older role model, like I'm their father figure, or like I'm like an older brother that they don't have, you know? And I talk to those kids like they're my sons, they're my daughters. And I actually have fun while teaching them football. So, on top
Hmm.
of me telling them what a slant route is, what a hitch is, what an out route, what a dig route, what a post route is, I can have fun. I can shoot some shots saying, "Oh, I told you 6 steps, but you ran 4." Do you know what the difference is? Like, I'll shoot some, like, just a little math question, just to lighten up the fun.
Right, right,
So,
right.
so that will kind of tie into my next question, Leon.
Hmm.
What are some ways to cope with mental health? I know we kind of talked about some, but in your honest opinion, because let's be honest, you're a lot more wiser than I am at this moment. So, what do you think are some more ways that you would cope with mental health?
Yeah. So again, I want to just let the audience know I am not a doctor. I am not a mental health professional. We're just talking about ideas of what I've heard and things that have worked for me. Okay.
Mhm.
Number one is sleep. Make sure you get the appropriate amount of rest and sleep. And I think the two are different. Rest, doing nothing, just chilling, not going to a game, maybe just sitting there watching it at home. For many, that's rest. And when I say rest, I mean mental and physical. Just not doing anything, nothing which you have to give some serious thought to. Okay. Maybe even watching a game that doesn't involve your favorite team, right? A game you really don't care about, but you're going to watch it anyway, right? But then there's sleep, and a couple of my close friends are still working with me on this one, right? uh, just yesterday I sent emails at like 2:30 in the morning,
Mhm.
and one of my friends called me at like 9, and they're like, what are you doing up at 2:30? Oh yeah, I came up with some kind of weak excuse. So like, go to bed, go to sleep. You need to get some rest, and you need to sleep, right? So rest, sleep. I think exercise is important, right? Some folks like to run. I've run two half marathons. I never thought I would be a runner. Never thought I'd like running. It is the coolest thing, and your body gets used to it, and you crave it, and you just can't wait to get out there and do it again, right? To run your miles and training runs and all of those things. But whatever that exercise is, does it mean going to the gym? Does it mean swimming? Everybody has something, and it's some form of exercise. So I think those are some important things.
You hit the nail right in the coffin, Leon. I definitely do agree that sleep and exercise are great ways to cope with mental health. Now, as for me, I don't get a lot of sleep anyway. I'm always running in and out of the house. I'm always working. I'm always, on the go because I got bills to pay. I got money to make, and this, that, and the third. But I still always find some way to make time to exercise. If
Hmm.
I'm not able to drive out to my local gym, I'll find some workouts here in my house.
Right.
Something that worked for me is that I've incorporated working out with playing video games. I know I mentioned playing video games a lot. It's just what I do. Is I've been playing video games since I was an itty bitty one. And something that I've noticed, and it works for me. So if I'm playing, let's say like a shooter game, right? Like Apex Legends. If I'm playing Apex
Hmm.
Legends, that's a battle royale game. So like you gotta pick your character, you gotta land at a spot, you gotta hopefully you find a weapon, and then hopefully you get some knocks, you get some kills, and add to your streak, add some damage, whatever. So the stats that I have is that if I get less than this X amount of damage, then I have to do 50 jumping jacks. If I do, if I land and I don't have a weapon, then I have to do 10 push ups. If I'm choosing my character and somebody who I want to play as, but somebody chooses that player before me, then I have to do 5 burpees. You give yourself these kinds of conditions to where you're exercising, but you're also making it fun and incorporating with what you like to do.
Hmm. I like that. I like that. That sounds really good. And so you're relaxing some, and and you're getting some exercise in at the same time. I like that.
Yeah,
All
it's
right,
really it's
on.
really in between games, and I do my exercises after the game. I can't do it if I'm in between because it's not the game doesn't load that much because nowadays with the gaming systems their load times are pretty much non-existent. You sit there for 5 seconds, you're already in the game.
Hmm.
So Which brings me to my third question, Leon. Now, shifting it back over to men's mental health, I want to ask you a third question.
All right.
And this one's pretty hefty. People listening at home, if you're watching this on the Leon Thomas group, you can feel free to answer the conversations in the comment section below. If you're listening to it on a podcast and you're driving somewhere, you're totally free to join the discussion. So, my third question to you is: what are some key words when you think of a man? When you're just thinking of men in general, what are three key words that you think about?
Hmm. When I think of men, what are three keywords I think about? I think about men that are providers. I think about men who give good advice, and most importantly, I think of men that are godly, that recognize that their strength comes from God. Those are things that I think for godly, that give proper advice, and they're providers for their families and those that they love.
Good, good. I also do agree. So, um, but also to add on to your point, Leon, when I think of a man, I think of somebody who's strong. I think of somebody who's competent, someone who has wisdom, someone who always has the knowledge for not every situation, but they're willing to adapt to whatever is put in front of them and how they are going to move forward with the problem. And thirdly, I think it's somebody who is godly. I think of a man who's willing to serve God on Sundays and is also willing to go out and provide and get resources for the family during the week. He he is the head of the household, and he needs to bring in the resources for his family to survive.
Well, now something that you mentioned is about in terms of God. Godly men may be involved in church on Sunday, but they also remember and they are Christian men during the week also. It's not a religious person only on Sunday. They're doing godly activities. They're godly about everything they do every day of the week and every decision that they make. So it's not a Sunday only go to church and worship. It's the way they live and recognizing who is the real head of their life. So that's what I mean by godly.
Right, right. And I must have misinterpreted when I said it, but yes, when they're in church on Sundays, they're serving the Lord Jesus Christ, and then during the week they're still serving Him. They're serving Him 7 days through 365.
Right,
So,
exactly. And there's so many ways we serve too, right?
hmm
There's some that serve larger groups of people, like a pastor, okay, and then there are others, like you, in some of the things that you do. You're providing godly service, and some of the activities that you do and services that you provide through our racquetball program, godly men, and we're providing God-like counseling and advice and mentoring through the folks that we work for. So there's so many ways that folks can demonstrate and be able to help communities, but also show their respect for the Lord.
I love it. I love it. Wise words from Leon Thomas himself. Man, you guys are missing out on all this wisdom he's spitting right now. He is spitting facts. You guys need to listen in. So, Leon, before we close out, I have one last question. I figured I asked this one because I just want to pick your brain for a second. How did you find?
You gonna pick my brain?
Whoa, whoa, hey, hey, hey,
Oh
hey, hey,
man,
hey!
usually that costs money, man. You start picking my brain, but since it's
It
you,
don't
go
cost money
ahead.
today. It
Go
don't cost
ahead.
money today. It's chaos. It's chaos. That's what it is. I'm picking your
Go
brain because
ahead.
I need to. So,
Go ahead.
my last question to you, Leon, is how did you find out about men's mental health? Did someone bring it up to you? Did you always know what it was, but you didn't really know how to go about it? Or did you find out on social media somewhere? How did you find out what men's mental health actually was?
Yeah. So for me, my path to learning the term men's mental health And I'll tell, I'll kind of go way back. I remember there was a time where folks would say men don't cry, boys don't cry, stop crying, it's nothing to cry about, right? I remember those days. I remember the tough it up, suck it up, you're fine. I remember that. Okay. But then as I got older, number one, I started hearing about more and more suicides, more and more folks taking their own lives. And in hearing some families talk about it, in hearing uh, some of the letters that they left, right? Some of the notes, the suicide notes, it came to them not being listened to. It came to them not feeling comfortable talking to anyone. And so I started then thinking, okay, this is something here. And then, men's mental health hasn't always been the in thing, right? That it wasn't cool to seek counseling. It wasn't cool to have therapy. It wasn't cool to talk to your doctor about things, and maybe you might need some medications to help you. I remember when those things were not cool, that if someone was seeing a therapist, that you went 30, 40 miles away somewhere and that nobody would see you coming out of the car and going into that building to speak with a therapist, right? I remember folks saying, "Oh, I have a meeting to go to." Well, you know what? You have a meeting every Thursday at 3 o'clock. Where are you going? I remember supervisors, bosses saying, "If you don't tell me, not to me, but to others, if you don't tell me where you're going, I'm not giving you the time off." Right? I remember all those things. And then, if we bring it up to modern day, one of the students that I know, and you know him as well. He attends Robert Morris University, Cole.
Hmm.
um, he
That's my
was
guy.
Cole,
Shout out to
yeah,
you, Cole.
Cole Brennan. He told me some information about mental health and the statistics, um, for college students, and the struggles that many have. And we did a show, a conversation about mental health, and it really opened my eyes to a lot of things. And so now I am very careful about how I speak to others, how I hold conversations with them when I talk to them. Everything doesn't have to be a now conversation, right? You
Mhm.
don't know what's going on in others' lives, um, and particularly it's not just elementary students; it's everybody. It's just not one age group now. It's everyone. We all need to think about um, other men, right? And ladies too, but I know we're focusing on men. And one of the things that I am very cognizant of, I try to reach out to men. How you doing? Let's get together and have a coffee, a soda, a water, whatever. Let's just spend a little time together. Let's check in on each other. How you doing? I think that helps as well. So that's what how I learned about men's mental health, and how I try to apply some of the things that I've heard from others into my life.
That is such an inspiring answer, Leon. Um, and I have a few things to say, not to rebuttal, but to add on to. First off, men don't usually seek out help when it comes to their mental health. And I see a reason for that is being that they're always being told to man up or toughen up. And so I think that stigma kind of roots to them not asking for help because they'll see it as you're weak, you're not a man, and you're just not like fully complete. I don't know who told us that this stigma of man up, toughen up, that we need to not talk about our problems because that's just gonna harm us in the long run. You know what I'm saying? So if we want to talk about our problems, then we shouldn't be afraid to seek professional help. We shouldn't be afraid to talk to somebody. We shouldn't be afraid to actually like reach our hand out and say, "Hey, I'm having trouble this week. I'm really having a rough time. something's on my mind and I can't get it off. Um, and also to build on another point that you said, to reach out. When I was doing, I did some more research earlier today, and I counted the amount of times that I checked up on a lot of my male friends. A lot of them answered pretty much the same. I'm doing great. I'm doing all right. I'm doing fine. Some of them said that they want to thug it out. I'm telling them, hey, look, I'm gonna thug it out too. We all have problems. We all have people we need to talk to. We all have places to where we think we should be, but we're not there at the moment. So we shouldn't think about where we should be, what we should have, and who we should be with. Really, we should be more in the present and talk about what can I do to move forward? How can I take one plus step for where I am? Instead of me trying to jump to the finish line, how about I just take one step and see how I can move forward? It's all about consistency and being persistent.
You know,
So,
something you talked about, you used the term seeking help, right? Finding someone to talk to. I
yes.
think often we men miss the boat, and as you said, finding someone to talk to. So we're talking like professionals, right?
Yeah.
Counselors, therapists, folks like that, right? But another thing that two other areas that I think men just don't do is one regarding their physical health, right?
Mm,
So, oh, my arm is hurting. I got a pain here. This isn't right. This has been bothering me.
mm.
Many men,
Talk about it, coach.
they leave it alone, right? And then boom, there's the heart attack, or this is out of place, this is out of joint, whatever it is. How long has this been going on? How long you been feeling that pain? Oh, it's been going on 2 months. 2 months, and now you waited, you put it off, and now look at what's going on, right? That's one. The second is other professionals, and here's what I mean by that. If if one is struggling financially,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you can talk to the therapist about that, but the therapist is not going to be in a position to help you understand your financial condition and tell you how to get out of that, right? Or the steps that you need to take to do this. A professional in the financial world can, okay? And so often I've had friends. I had a conversation with someone earlier this week. In fact, on Monday afternoon, someone was explaining some things that were going on in their life in terms of a business that they had.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I've actually kind of been where you are right now. I understand your feelings. Here's what I did. I went to that accountant right over there, as in, here's the email address for that accountant. You need to contact that accountant to get your stuff in order. Yeah, but mm-mm, there is no yeah, but. Because if you let a professional handle that part of it, you are going to feel a weight come off of you. Let that person do what they do. None of us are professionals at everything, right? Some we can read up on stuff and go to YouTube and learn about it. Yeah, 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 I get it. Seek help. Let people help you. Let people help. Will it sometimes cost money? Yes, but it can also cost you your life, because now that person is stressing over finances of their business, which is, it's going over to their home life, and it's affecting their relationship with their wife and their children, right? So I want to encourage everyone, you don't have to be the expert in everything. Seek help all around. Take care of your mental health, take care of your physical health, and when it comes to other things, get somebody to do it, right? Look, Anthony, about 20 years or so ago, at
Mm-hmm.
my house, I went to change a light bulb. What do you do? It was a ceiling light bulb, ceiling fan light bulb.
Yeah.
So I turn the power off, go downstairs. turn the breaker off, take the light bulb out, put the light bulb in, turn it, turn it. Yeah, it looks good. It's in. Go downstairs, turn the power back on, go over to the switch, which it ain't working. I'm pulling the string, the light's supposed to turn around, the fan's supposed to go. It's not happening, Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I called an electrician. He comes to look at it. He says, "Who's been playing around up here?" But I changed the light bulb. He's like, "You turned it too tight." You're looking at me with that you idiot look on his face, right? I'm like, dude, I just tried to do it. So here's the thing. When something breaks, I don't touch it. I don't stress over that.
Mm-hmm.
When I know that some people, oh, I got to go to Home Depot and read up on it, then they can't get it. Then they're stressing. Then they start yelling and screaming at others because they can't get it right. They go to IKEA to buy furniture, right?
Yeah.
Try to put that together. Yeah. You know how difficult that can be for some people. Call somebody to do it. Take that stress away from you. That's something that I've really learned. I have a hammer and a screwdriver here somewhere. I don't even know where they are because they're not my calling. So that's another thing I'd like to make sure that everybody
Yeah.
pays.
I love it. I love the story time. Yeah, I could say I had a few of the same experiences, but my dad, he showed me how to change an air filter. He showed me how to take out and put back a car battery, how to tighten it up. He showed me how to take a tire off. He showed me how to ride a bike. My dad showed me how to do a lot of things around the house that a man should know how to do. I think the only thing he hasn't shown me yet was like tighten up or fixing a leaky faucet. But I've seen enough YouTube videos just because I was curious one day. I've
Uh-huh.
seen enough YouTube videos to say, well, I kind of know what I'm doing, but I'm not guaranteed. I'm not going to tell you that I'm guaranteed because I haven't done it before. I've only seen videos. Until I have hands-on experience, that's when I'll tell you, yeah, I'm guaranteed I know what I'm doing.
Right.
So,
You talked
so
about changing the tire.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
know how to change. I know how to change a tire.
That's I
It's
think
called
that's something that everybody needs to know how to do.
it's called triple A.
Nah. Well, speaking of cars, I was also taught. My stepdad showed me how to change oil in the car, washer fluid. He taught me how to like clean cars and not to use oil for spray because when I first got a car, I would just grab any bottle that I see that looked like cleaning supplies and I sprayed it. And then he would come out here and he would be like, Anthony, what are you doing? I'm like, oh well, I'm cleaning the car. He was like, what's this? What are all these marks on like the mat of the car? I was like, oh, I was using this bottle. He was like, oh, Anthony, this is oil. I was like, what? There's no label on it. He's like, yeah, but if it comes out kind of like blackish when you spray it, it's oil. I was like, oh, you know what? That makes a lot. I didn't see it spray. I just sprayed it and wiped it, and I thought I was doing a good
Wow.
job because it looked good to me.
Right,
So,
right.
hey, man, that's it. That just tells you how important father figures are. But
Yeah.
Leon, I want to thank you so much for coming to my first ever episode of Ant-Archy, and I do want to say something. Hey, can we get a single shot on me real quick? Cause I want to talk to my audience. Thank you. So, if you're a man and you're listening to this, trust me, better days are coming. You take one step, you can make an 1,000-step journey. If you take it one step at a time, you don't need to rush. It's okay. You may feel like you don't have that position you want. You may feel like you don't have that job that you want. You may feel like that you don't have the car that you want. It's all right. It's all right. The best thing for you to do is just breathe, take a step back, relax, and actually assess the problem. You do not need to rush and put your emotions into it. No, don't do that. I want everybody here, if you're listening to this show right now, I want everybody to grab their phones and check up on one person, one male, just one. It could be your brother, your coworker, your father, your stepdad, your friends. I don't know, your mechanic. Some dudes you play hoops with. Some guys in the game that you play with. Check up on them and actually ask them how are they doing. And I promise you that one small checkup will go a long way. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in for the very first episode of Ant-Archy. If you are a viewer and you're watching at home, or you're driving, you're listening to a podcast, you can message me on my Instagram. That's Clutchy Ant with two Y's. You can message me on my Twitter. That's Big Dog Ant 4. Again, that's Big Dog DAWG Ant 4. And then finally, my email. You can email me if you ever have something you want to talk about. Maybe you have a topic for a show that I'm willing to do. That's okay. I'm open to suggestions. All right. All right, fam. Everybody have a good night. Everybody, please stay safe, stay cool, stay passionate.